the actual date when we actually moved in to live here must have been about May 1971. But we'd camped before that.
Did you camp in the garden?
No, we were living with David's parents, and we came up at weekends and holidays, whenever we had a chance.
So you made the kitchen and one bedroom livable.
That's right.
And then you moved in 71. So David told me the water was from a well and there was a pump.
Yeah.
So were you working then, or did you have children?
No, I was at work. I was working in London at Stockbrokers.
And when did you have the first babies?
In 1972.
And how did you manage with pumping the water for their daily?
Well, it wasn't too bad
arrangements?
whilst one was at work, and we could use the water for washing up and washing and things like that, although it took an absolute age to get a bowl full of washing up water. David improved that. He put a better pump onto but it was literally just pumping by hand from side to side. And the drinking water he used to bring home in plastic bottles from the college where he was working. So, but of course when I was at work all day long, I used to go out at 6:30 and sometimes it was 11:30 before I got home. So that wasn't such a problem till I packed up working.
So what did you do about washing nappies and things?
Oh gosh, that was a performance. I used to soak them overnight because they were all terry nappies with muslin linens.
Yeah.
And I used to soak them overnight, and it used to take me roughly 20 minutes to get enough water in the following morning so I could boil them up in an old gas boiler that we'd adapted to work on bottled gas.
Okay.
And then I used to boil them in the boiler, and it took forever. It used to take me, when Matthew was born, it used to take me 20 minutes to get enough water for his bath, because I had to use kettles. 3 kettlefuls of water for the baby bath in a big plastic jug. Well, the good life, it's quite funny because people used to say that to us, but we had no idea what they were talking about because we haven't got television.
Yeah.
So we had absolutely no idea. Our ideas really, more than being self-sufficient, we needed to have those animals because we had very, very little money.
Okay.
And we'd always wanted to live in the country, and there's nothing nicer than getting a hot egg out of the egg box. It's wonderful, out of the nest box. The goats came a little bit later. I think James was 2. And that came about from a darling lady in the village called Mrs. Holbrook. And she used to keep goats during the Second World War. And she said, what you need's a goat. And she actually found us some goats indirectly, and that went for a lifelong friendship with Mrs. Mitten Mills up at Withersfield Hall, because that's where we got our first goat from.
Okay.
And she was lovely. So Haverhill had far more diverse shops than it has now. It was quite, looking back on it, still quite a charming market town, although it didn't quite have that effect on one when you lived there. There was always a bit of animosity between the people who'd always lived in Haverhill, and then of course the Overspill town with the London influx.
In the 60s.
Yeah, but if you wanted a big shop, general groceries at a good price, you had to go into Cambridge. So
How did you get to Haverhill and Cambridge?
I walked to Haverhill.
Alright. With the children in a pram?
No, when the children were small I still had my Mini. So I used to cram all the carry cot and everything else into the Mini, and we shopped there. I can't quite remember when I was without a car. The traffic's very local traffic now, but it is very noisy. There's a constant buzz up there. It doesn't concern us, but I do find when I'm on the main road it's very noisy. And people don't walk like they used to. Very often, I suppose, thinking about it, it's because everybody drives now, even the ladies, because when we came here, a lot of the older people didn't drive. But because of that, the community isn't they don't know each other like they used to when we walked about so much.
When you first came, how was it there? Did you know all your neighbours?
I knew every name. I wouldn't say I knew everybody in Sturmer, but I knew all the names in Sturmer. So if anyone stopped to ask where so-and-so was, I would know who they were. Yes, we knew. I knew every single person from here to the village hall.
Do you think the WI helps at all with community spirit?
Oh yes, and it certainly did then. Because, as I said, a lot of the older ladies didn't drive, and it was the younger ones of us that got those women to the hospitals and things if their husbands were in the hospital. Yeah. What do I like? I love coming home down that little lane and coming under the railway bridge and going, oh. I love the garden that we've had organic for over 40 years now and grown our vegetables. I love the wildlife, the birds and the mammals that I see around. I love walking out of the door and being in the middle of a field and just going for a walk. I just love living down here.